A man named Albert Camus once said, "You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of." For the vast majority of human history, happiness wasn't viewed as the central objective of human existence. If you traveled back a few centuries, you wouldn't find people obsessed with the pursuit of bliss. Life was structured around survival and duty, family, religion, community. Happiness was a rare visitor, a fleeting reward, not the destination itself. It was an expectation, not a requirement. Somewhere along the timeline of civilization, this paradigm shifted. In the modern era, happiness has become the singular metric by which we judge our lives. We are told to relentlessly pursue it, to protect it, to optimize it, and crucially, to remove any threat to it. Entire industries have been built on this premise, selling us the promise that if we buy the right books, attend the right seminars, or consume the right products, we can achieve a state of perpetual contentment. On the surface, this seems benevolent, but there is a profound irony in the modern obsession with happiness. The more we chase it, the more miserable many of us seem to become. Perhaps the root of this contradiction lies in the nature of emotion itself. Happiness is not a stable state. It is a signal. Evolution designed emotions to fluctuate, to provide us with data about our environment. Joy, sadness, anxiety, boredom, and excitement all serve distinct psychological functions. Happiness is a notification that our current situation is favorable, not a permanent operating system. When we treat a temporary signal as a permanent condition, we begin to misinterpret the very language of our experience. Every moment of sadness is no longer viewed as a natural part of the human condition, but as a failure of our ability to maintain happiness. This is where ancient philosophy offers a necessary counterpoint. The Greeks, particularly Aristotle, conceptualized the good life not as a feeling, but as a state of being. He described eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but a more accurate rendering might be human flourishing. For Aristotle, a meaningful life was not about chasing pleasant sensations. It was about the development of character, the pursuit of excellence, and contribution to something beyond the self. A person living this way might not always feel happy in the moment, but their life could be deeply fulfilling. Happiness was a byproduct of alignment with one's values, not the goal itself. Modern culture has inverted this wisdom. We have become obsessed with comfort and pleasure, often equating a good life with a comfortable life. We are encouraged to avoid stress, discomfort, struggle, yet the most meaningful experiences in life, like, climbing a mountain, reading a book, learning a new language, starting a business, usually involves a lot of significant difficulty. These challenges provide depth. If we removed all of the friction from life in the name of happiness, we might inadvertently strip away the very things that give life meaning to begin with. Psychology has begun to illuminate another layer of this issue. Research suggests that the relentless pursuit of happiness can paradoxically lead to dissatisfaction. When happiness becomes the primary objective, we start evaluating every movement of our lives against the rigid standard of feeling good enough. When reality inevitably falls short, which it always does, we are left with disappointment. Social media exacerbates this by exposing us to curated highlight reels of other people's lives. The constant comparison to idealized versions of reality creates a sense that our ordinary existence is somehow lacking. But perhaps happiness was never meant to be the sole measure of a life well lived. Philosophers like Albert Camus confronted the absurdity of existence, arguing that meaning does not come from constant pleasure. It comes from engagement with life itself, facing challenges, confronting reality honestly, and continuing to move forward despite uncertainty. Camus believed that humans can find beauty and joy in a world that does not guarantee your happiness, but those moments tend to arise naturally when we are fully participating in life, rather than obsessively trying to extract happiness from it. Furthermore, this modern fixation on happiness has created a fear of ordinary emotion. We view sadness and boredom and loneliness as problems to be solved, yet these emotions are intrinsic to the human experience. Sadness often reflects deep care. Boredom can be the catalyst for new ideas. Loneliness reminds us of the necessity of connection. When we reject these uncomfortable states, we disconnect ourselves from the full spectrum of what it means to be alive. There is a deeper question beneath this cultural obsession. What if happiness is not the main goal of life at all? What if it is merely a side effect of other virtues? Purpose, curiosity, creativity, love, and personal growth. When we are absorbed in meaningful activities, we often experience a sense of fulfillment that is distinct from simple happiness. It is quieter, it is more stable, and it is less dependent on external circumstances. Ironically, the more we focus on happiness, the harder it can be to find in the first place. It tends to appear when we stop chasing it and start living. It emerges in moments of connection and discovery and accomplishment, not as a permanent state, but as a series of scattered moments throughout the larger story of existence. So perhaps the problem is not happiness itself, but the elevation of happiness to the ultimate standard. When we make happiness the only acceptable emotional state, we begin to reject large portions of the human experience. Life is not merely happiness, it is struggle, it is uncertainty, it is curiosity, it is connection, it is growth, loss, and discovery. And strangely enough, when we accept this full range of experience, happiness often finds its way into our lives on its own, not as a permanent condition, but as a series of beautiful interruptions in the larger narrative of being alive. So to leave you with some food for thought and sort of summarize this entire video, I want you to sit with this. What if the pursuit of happiness is actually the problem? Maybe the goal of life is not to be happy all of the time, but to be engaged with it all of the time. Stop treating your emotions like data points that need to be optimized. Stop scrolling through highlight reels and comparing your behind-the-scenes footage to everyone else's. Start focusing on what actually matters. Connection, growth, curiosity. These things that they don't always feel good, but they make you feel alive. Let go of the expectation that life is just supposed to be easy. Let go of the need to constantly monitor your emotional dashboard and just live. Yes, it's messy and complicated, but that's what makes it beautiful. And if you happen to feel happy along the way, great. If not, you're still doing it right.